How you doing? We're finally here.
We did. We came to life.
It's the Miami Hal Real Estate Show. I'm Hal Feldman. This is Javier Gonzalez, and
Back
that
at
is
it.
the best opening with the most expensive public domain music
Absolutely.
money can't buy.
Absolutely. We do that. We do. We spent a lot in this project here.
So
Doing well.
our show is about real estate and what's going on in the neighborhood. So if you're part of the neighborhood live, please type in a
Come
couple
on in.
questions for us. We'd love to have you be part of the actual conversation. Until then, we'll just get started.
Absolutely.
As we always do at the beginning of the show. Hav,
Tell me.
what did you learn today?
This
week?
Well, this week, actually, I learned a lot. I really did. And I reaffirmed a couple things. Where do you want to start? Let's start with roofs and Coral Gables. How's that?
Okay.
So we have a property that I sold, and it's actually in a historic district. And one of the things that I learned is that it doesn't matter that you're not designated historic as a house, but if you're in a historic district, you're going to have to conform to some of the historic standards. So that was quite interesting because, again, this house had already had several alterations to it. But since it's in a district that would be considered that they have properties that are conforming and contributing, then you actually have some of the code. So my client wanted to put flat tile roof. And they wouldn't allow flat tile, so we had to go through the board.
Barrel tile.
You had to go to barrel tile,
Mhm.
and actually we had to go through the board. But we actually met with the mayor. He was kind enough to give us a meeting, and also with the director of the actual building director.
So let me get this straight.
Mm-hmm.
Most real estate agents, they hear you got to put barrel tile. That's the end of it. But you actually took it a step further, wanted to explore for your client.
And we met. We set up an appointment, and we actually got. And also with the Historic Preservation Board. And we had a long meeting. They explained the reasons why. And actually, it was very enlightening. And actually asked them also to maybe put something out for real estate agents so that they all know this instead of just people that specialize in Coral Gables. So it was actually a really good meeting.
That's full service.
Yeah,
What
full
do
service.
you have a result yet as to what they can do?
Well, no,
not?
we decided to go. My client decided to go with the barrel tile. Instead of the flat tile, simply because I think she felt it was a lot easier to do it. And it was interesting to see like where the property was, 30, 40, 50 years ago. It was actually permitted with white tile roof, which I think is kind of cool. And it was just an interesting process.
Cool, both literally and figuratively.
Absolutely, yeah. So it was just interesting. It was an interesting process, and the real takeaway was that when you look at some government try to get a meeting like you have for your Section 8 thing,
Please
you're
don't bring that
you're
up.
in Coral Gables, you can actually get a meeting with people, physical people,
That's
so
great.
that they can explain it.
I honestly
nice.
wouldn't even think to do that. So it's wonderful you did that for your client.
And it was actually very, very it was very informative and just that. So that's one of the things. The other thing I learned or reconfirmed was that sometimes it's best not even to show up at a showing and you'll get an offer. So a lot of people, we've talked about this before, and it's one of our pet peeves. Got two pet peeves, but the first pet peeve is you go to showings as agents, and we go places, and you get one of those agents that follows you around and wants to tell you everything about everything that you don't want to hear about. Hi, these have really beautiful wood floors, and they don't even know that the wood floors aren't really wood floors. They're engineered. There's something, and they say something crazy on it. And you're always going off on these things. And it's like, guys, just shut up. Let me do my job.
Bring a key.
Mm-hmm.
If you're nice enough, open the door for us and then step away.
Yeah, just step away. Give me, if I ask you a question, give me those answers. But outside of that, and it's funny, I had one of those showings. We'll talk a little bit more about that, I'm sure, on Tuesday, and we got an offer to Wednesday night.
Great.
And Wednesday, what day is it today? Thursday?
Today's Thursday. That's when we go on air, usually at 2:00.
Okay, yeah. So
but the Pinecrest Business Association pushed us to 2:11.
Pinecrest, damn them. No, it was on Tuesday because that's when I got caught in that fabulous traffic jam on the Palmetto for 3.5 hours. So so it would have been Tuesday that I couldn't do the showing, and we had a Supra, and from there we got the deal. So it was actually. It reconfirmed the fact that a lot of times maybe we just keep our mouth shut, let people do their job, and we're going to get something.
There's a business saying, which I think is absolutely true, and that is that the first person who talks loses a deal. And so we should kind of bring that into the real estate market because, again, as you said, a listing agent, they go to show the house, which is the right thing to do.
Right.
Be there
Yeah.
rather than
It's our job.
be a showing where only the buying agent shows up. Be there to answer questions if they're asked.
Right.
Don't open your mouth,
Yeah.
right?
And you're always going to get that classic question: why are they selling? I hate that question.
Yeah.
What do you care why they're selling?
Well,
it doesn't matter.
yeah.
I hate that question. That's one of those pet peeve questions that I have that people always ask me. Why are you selling? I don't know.
Because I'd like
Because-
money
exactly.
and not have the house anymore or the home.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but I think showing agents should be, again, we don't know how, and this is one of the things we talked about with one of my associates, is that we don't know how the buyer's agent has positioned the buyer, or what the buyer's agent is looking for from the buyer, or what the buyer's looking for. And I think sometimes we can say something that blows up the whole thing just by something that we say. So a lot of times it's just basically state the facts.
Less is more.
Yeah, state the facts. And if you ask me a question about how old the roof is, I'll tell you how old the roof is if I know. And I think it's better to be that way. But man, just don't follow me around and tell me this is a kitchen, this is a bedroom. This
Wait
is
a minute,
closet.
that's a kitchen? The one with the refrigerator and the stove?
Yeah.
I
And
think
as we
that's
talked
a
off,
kitchen.
and we talked off air, as long as you don't have two kitchens, I'm okay.
That's
I
right.
can figure out one kitchen. So
2 kitchens
are-
equals multifamily.
yeah. So those are
And
the
if it
couple.
doesn't, you got an illegal structure.
Exactly.
Okay.
So those are the couple of things that I learned this week and reaffirmed. How about you? What did you pick up?
You know what? I learned that when you go on vacation,
Mm-hmm.
you learn a lot.
Do you?
Typically, July is a slow month in real
absolutely,
estate. And so I chose to take a couple of days off during July. And as is typical, if you're a sole proprietor,
Mhm.
the minute you are on vacation, that's when everybody comes out of the
Chaos. Guaranteed.
And you try to have a backup and you try to be attentive.
Yeah.
Now, I went down to the Bahamas,
Nice.
which was very nice. And there was no communication where I was.
Zippo.
The villa that was rented did not have the internet functioning. My service provider for cell service was spotty at best. And literally, as I was getting onto the airplane in Miami to head down, the phone started to ring. Of course, I had to shut it off for the flight. And I landed with multiple messages. And so what I learned is go away on vacation if you really want to earn some money.
Want to pick up some cash. It is so true.
Yeah.
I mean, every time we step away, I'm stepping away at the end of this month. That's why, we'll be doing a different show. And I have like 4 or 5 deals that are going to, come to finally figure out that we're closing them.
Good.
So, but you already know that it doesn't matter how much you plan, it's going to go chaos.
But what I really learned is you have to set expectations with each one of your clients.
Well done.
Because everybody wants it differently.
Mhm.
Okay. Some people only want to be contacted by text.
Right.
I currently have 2 people that are buyers and they're not in this time zone.
Right.
So you have to figure out when to communicate with them if you can get your phone or your internet to function. And I'll tell you something else I learned. And it's a lesson I've learned over and over again because I'm just a glutton for punishment, I guess, up here.
Yeah.
So the only thing that matters to work with a client is motivation. If they are motivated, then they will do what is required.
Right.
And you give them good guidance and they follow it. I have learned that people that want to lease a property as opposed to purchase a property have far less motivation. And they tend to not pay attention to the details.
Right.
So I'm going to look at the audience here for a second and say, listen, if you're wanting to lease a property, think about it from the other side. If you're a landlord, you want to know who's moving into your property. Are they going to take care of it? Do they have the ability to pay their rent in a regular way, on time?
A timely way, yeah.
And is there any criminal background? It's pretty simple. Those are the 3 things you need to know as a landlord. Am I going to get paid on time? And are the people that are living there quality people that aren't going to trash the place? It's that simple. So now go back to being a tenant. Provide them paperwork on time with your offer, or you're not going to get the place. It's that simple.
Especially now.
And I spend so much time working with tenants that already have been tenants, and I'm like, just do what you should do, and they won't produce.
It becomes very difficult, and they don't realize that the market is so competitive. Yeah, especially if you're in certain areas. Like we're making offers on property
Let's